Sewing buttons on with your machine is very easy. We're going to use a zigzag stitch, but what setting should we set the width at? Here's the key. When you have two different buttons, if you align them, most of them are actually the same size. Even though it's an optical illusion here, they actually line up and you can see right through those two pairs of holes. So first off, set your machine for the zigzag stitch number 2. And the stitch width is, I usually go anywhere between 3 and 4. So 3.5 millimeters wide is actually truly what most buttonhole eyes are set at. Now, before you sew, we're going to actually take off the foot. We don't need the foot. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to lower the feed dog. So that means that the stitch length, it doesn't matter where this knob is. You're going to slide your accessory box off the machine. And with your hand behind the machine, there is a lever. And we're going to slide it to the right. When you slide it to the right, you'll hear a little click, and those are the teeth lowering down. That means that the fabric will not be pulled through, and the needle will just go back and forth in the eyes of the button. Now, a little note, when you go to bring these up when we're done, click. I clicked it to the left, but nothing happens. You actually need to take a stitch to actually see them engage, or if you just start sewing, they'll come up as you need them. So once again, the little lever back here, push to the right, that will lower down. I'll just put the accessory box back on for a nice work surface. Now, this little button I picked out actually has a ridge or a rim all the way around it. Since it has 4 holes, what I'm going to do is actually align it for the front 2 holes first. Did you notice that little ankle just kind of sits down and holds the button for us? The first time, though, I'm going to make sure that I have my needle aligned with a hole, and then go ahead and let it turn and make sure it goes in the other hole. Then you can go ahead and just stitch. You want somewhere in the 8 to 10 stitches there, however many look good. And then go ahead, bring the needle up. For this button, since I had that rim, if I slide back, I noticed I was almost tilting the foot. So I'm going to actually just turn it around. You can even leave that thread connected. Usually I don't disconnect it as I jump from a pair of holes and start my next one. And then I'll just, again, test out the swing of the needle. Once it's gone in each hole one time, you can go ahead and stitch along there. Now, if you never want the buttonholes or buttons to come undone, what you can do is take a little fray check, drop a little of the liquid onto the threads, and that will seal them so they will not come undone. Once you have finished, if you want, you can tug these threads to the back side and tie them off. So I see one stitch that I can pull back here. That's going to be the top thread. And if I pull on it, I can loop it back there and then have a little bit more security and tie it off. All right, see this little extra thread coming through? I'm going to pull it to the back. That was one of the threads from up here. I'll have one left. I can probably just clip that because that was the very first stitch, and those other stitches probably have contained it. And then just come back here and then tie a couple hand knots with these threads. That will definitely keep that button from going around. And Viking makes a great button sew on foot too. It's wonderful because you can just put the button in it. It has a little gripper. You put it in the holes of the button, you put it into the machine, and it's perfect every time in stitches. So if you start doing a lot of buttons, that's the way to go. And like always, Viking has the accessories to always make your life easier.